They trained for regionals, not for the apocalypse. The first zombie appeared near Tim Hortons. Nobody thought much of it. In Kentville, Nova Scotia, during the apple blossom weekend, a strange-looking person wandering downtown before noon wasn't exactly headline news. The parade route was already packed. Families lined both sides of the street. Kids sat on curbs holding bags for candy. The smell of fried dough and apple crisp drifted through the morning air. In the front of the parade stood the Valley Vixens Majorettes squad. 16 girls, white boots, blue uniforms, silver batons, years of practice, but zero combat experience. Madison adjusted her ponytail. How many people do you think are here? Too many, said Emily. Coach Darlene clapped her hands. Girls, smile. We are smiling. You look constipated, said Coach Darlene. The girls all laughed. The marching band began playing. The crowd cheered. The parade started moving. Everything was perfect. 3 kilometers away, everything was not. At the Canadian Forces Base, an experimental aerosol dispersal test had gone catastrophically wrong. Nobody knew exactly what the chemical was supposed to do. Everyone knew what it did do. People stopped acting human. The military tried to lock the area down. They failed. The infected soldiers and civilian contractors were wandering across the Annapolis Valley, drawn by the loudest thing around, the Apple Blossom Parade. The first infected walked directly onto Main Street carrying a drum. It was Tyler Bennett, drummer, grade 12, marching band, part-time employee at Sobeys, currently dead, or dead enough. His face was pale gray, and his eyes were cloudy. His uniform was soaked in blood, yet somehow he was still drumming. Boom, 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 boom. The crowd laughed. People pulled out their phones. Someone shouted, "Best parade ever." Tyler continued marching. Boom, 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 boom. Then 50 infected emerged behind him. The laughter stopped. One woman screamed, then another. Then everybody screamed. The parade collapsed instantly. People ran. Children cried. Vendors abandoned their carts. The mayor disappeared so fast, people later questioned whether he had even attended. The infected charged. Madison watched one tackle a man near a hot dog stand. The thing bit into his neck. Blood sprayed across the pavement. The man stopped screaming. Then he started biting people too. "What the hell is happening?" Emily shouted. "I don't know," Coach Darlene yelled. An infected sprinted directly toward them. Madison reacted without thinking. Years of muscle memory took over. She spun. Crack. The baton connected with the side of its head. The infected dropped immediately. Dead. Silence. All the girls stared. Madison stared. The baton stared. Well, not really, but it felt like it did. Another infected rushed them. Emily swung. Crack. Down. Then another. Crack. Down. Coach Darlene looked at the squad, then at the growing horde, then back at the squad. "Stay in formation," she yelled. That sentence saved dozens of lives that day. Most people ran individually. The Majorettes moved together. Instinct, spacing, timing, coordination. A family became trapped near a souvenir stand. The girls advanced. Step, strike, pivot, kick, step, retreat. One baton flew through the air, a perfect toss. The metal rod spun end over end. It smashed directly into a zombie's forehead. She caught it on the rebound. The father blinked. "Did you just kill a zombie with a baton toss?" The girl shrugged. "I got first place provincially." "Fair enough," the man said. By noon, downtown Kentville looked like a war zone. Cars burned. Store windows shattered. Sirens echoed through downtown. The infected filled every street. Yet somehow, the Valley Vixens kept rescuing people. Not because they were stronger, but because they never stopped moving together. The routines they practiced for years suddenly became combat. Turns became dodges. Kicks became attacks. Tosses became projectiles. One girl launched a baton 30 feet through the air and knocked an infected off a police cruiser. Another kicked a zombie directly into a flower display. Another girl somehow broke a shovel handle and attached it to the baton. Nobody even questioned it. Around sunset, they reached the Apple Blossom Festival headquarters. Almost 100 survivors had barricaded themselves inside. Festival volunteers, volunteer firefighters, parents, children, local business owners, and a handful of exhausted soldiers. One captain looked at the girls, and then at the uniforms, and then at a pile of dead infected outside. "What exactly are you people?" he asked. Madison answered, "Majorettes." The captain rubbed his face. "Of course you are." Then they heard it. Boom, 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 boom. The room went silent. Everybody knew that sound. Tyler, the drummer, still marching, still drumming, still leading the infected. The military captain climbed onto the desk. "We figured something out." Nobody looked hopeful. The infected are attracted to rhythmic sound. Boom, 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 boom. The captain pointed outside. "That drummer is basically a zombie Pied Piper." The room became very quiet. Emily stared through the window. "That's Tyler." "We know that's Tyler." "No, I mean, that's Tyler." "What does that mean?" "He never missed practice." Boom, 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 boom. Nobody argued. The infected weren't wandering. They were following Tyler. Thousands of them. Like a parade. The next morning they climbed onto the roof. The sight was unbelievable. Zombie Tyler marched through Kentville. Boom, 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 boom. and behind him nearly every infected in the valley. A dead parade, following the dead drummer. Madison smiled. A terrible smile. The kind that produces terrible ideas. Coach Darlene saw it immediately. "No," she yelled at Madison. "We can use him." "No." "We can lead him away." "No." "We absolutely can." "No." 5 minutes later, they were doing it anyway. The Valley Vixens assembled on Main Street one final time. The apple blossoms drifted through the air. Smoke rose from burning buildings and cars. The horde approached. Thousands of infected. Tyler marched at the front. Boom, 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 boom. "Coach," Emily asked quietly, "what's the plan?" Coach Darlene looked at the approaching horde, then at 16 terrified girls in blue uniforms, then at the batons in their hands. "Same as regionals. Don't embarrass me." Madison twirled her baton. The girls formed a line. White boots, blue uniforms, 16 survivors against the apocalypse. Coach Darlene sighed. "I hate all of you." "We love you too, Coach," Madison said. The girls raised their batons. Madison smiled. 5. The squad lifted their weapons. 6. The infected drew closer. 7. Tyler turned toward them. 8. The routine began. The girls did the same routine they did at nationals, just not for the judges, not for the trophies, but for survival. Batons flashed. Zombies followed. The drummer followed. The horde followed. All the way to the edge of town, toward the river, toward the old bridge. Behind them, the survivors escaped. Families crossed to safety. Military trucks evacuated civilians. Everything was working until Tyler's drum strap broke and the drum hit the pavement. Silence. Every zombie stopped, then turned toward the survivors, toward the bridge, toward the fresh prey. "Oh no," Emily whispered. Madison looked at the falling drum, then Tyler, then at the approaching horde, then at the girls. And the stupidest idea in human history entered her brain. "Cover me," she yelled. She ran. She grabbed the drum and strapped it to her chest. She picked up the drumsticks and started marching. Boom, 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 boom. Every infected turned back toward her, every single one. The girls stared. Coach Darlene stared. A soldier whispered, "That's either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid." Coach Darlene nodded. Madison never understood the difference between the two. The final battle became known as the Battle of the Apple Blossoms. Not because it was important, because nobody could think of a dumber name. Madison marched. The zombies followed. The girls protected her, kicking, spinning, throwing batons. The apple blossoms blew through the air like snow. The horde followed the drum onto the bridge. The military detonated the charges. The bridge collapsed. Thousands of infected disappeared into the river below. And for the first time in 2 days, it was silence. 1 year later, Kentville rebuilt. The festival returned. The people still talked about the outbreak. Nobody talked about the military. Nobody talked about the gas. Nobody talked about the cover-up. They talked about the girls, the Majorettes, the heroes. A reporter interviewed Madison before the next parade. What was going through your head when everything started, Madison? She looked down Main Street. The marching band waited. The crowd cheered. The apple blossoms drifted through the air. She smiled and looked at the reporter and said, "Honestly?" The reporter said, "Yeah." She said, "I was pretty sure we were all going to die." The reporter laughed. Madison didn't. Then she twirled her baton and caught it perfectly. Somewhere in the distance, a drummer began keeping time. Boom, 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 boom. Madison grinned, said, "Don't drop the baton." And the parade began. Thank you for listening. Sleep tight. Or don't. From dusk till dawn.